Are you anxious you won't be able to answer your colleagues' questions after a presentation at a conference? Well, let me help you go from hesitant speaker of English to confident speaker, especially if you have to answer questions at conferences. This is Susan Broder from Speak Languages and Travel the World, here to help you improve your English with minimum effort and maximum benefit. Are you a doctor or a professional? Do you present your research and results at international conferences? If you're not a native speaker of English, it really takes a lot of courage to stand in front of an international audience and present your research confidently. You're an expert in your field, but they're equally competent and will judge you. Will you be able to express yourself adequately? But this is not really the problem. If you practice properly, you will be able to explain your research results. It won't be necessary to memorize long, boring explanations. It'll be sufficient to describe the process and the graphics on the slides. Once a native speaker will have corrected your pronunciation, all you'll need to do is to practice a few times to improve your fluency and make it sound natural. So, what is the real problem? The real problem is that scary moment after the research presentation when you have to face your international colleagues asking you questions that you need to answer. Will you understand the question? Will you have to ask them to repeat themselves? Will you be embarrassed if you don't understand the second time? Will you lose confidence and become blocked? Will you be afraid you can't give a coherent reply? Will you feel unprofessional? Will you feel you've lost face? As a non-native speaker of English, you're not alone. Let me tell you a story. Ennio is a young doctor specialized in nutrition and eating disorders. He's given the opportunity to present his research at a prestigious international conference. He speaks good English and prepares his presentation, but he feels very uncomfortable at having to answer the questions at the end of the presentation. This is not because he's not competent enough to answer the questions. He's worried his knowledge of English is insufficient to understand the question. As a consequence, he won't be able to answer them. He comes to me for advice and I help him learn the strategies to understand questions. We practice together and finally he feels confident enough to answer his colleagues' questions. He goes to the conference feeling much less anxious. As soon as the conference is over, he sends me a message about how proud he is and how well he felt when he managed to answer his colleagues' questions confidently. The presentation is a success and opens many doors to the young researcher, who is offered a series of new opportunities to improve his career. Here's another story. Giacomo is a surgeon who often travels to the USA to present his latest research at conferences. He's a real expert in his field and has learnt to express himself sufficiently in English to explain his research findings well. The problem arises at the end of his presentation, at the Q&A session. He's very worried he won't be able to answer the questions his colleagues pose. He asks me to help him. And we not only practice comprehension strategies, but we learn different ways to form questions. The results are amazing. He returns from his conferences elated. He contacts me every time he returns to tell me how confident he felt and how well it went. Both doctors thank me for having reached a level of confidence in answering their colleagues' questions. And these are just two examples of how I can help you improve your level of English speaking. If you want to be able to understand your colleagues' questions and answer them confidently, you must not make the mistake of learning more English grammar and vocabulary. If you wait for your English to be perfect, you'll never reach your goal and face Q&A sessions confidently. Because what you really need is to learn the strategies. Speak English Successfully at Medical Conferences is my program to help doctors and professionals like you learn the strategies to face conference questions confidently. Your English doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to know more grammar and vocabulary than you already know. If your English is of intermediate level, your knowledge is sufficient to be able to answer conference questions confidently. No time? I know, you're a busy professional, maybe you have a family, hobbies and interests, but in reality you don't need a lot of time. All you need is to make use of your dead time whilst you're traveling, whilst you're getting dressed, to learn and implement the strategies you need to understand and answer colleagues' questions confidently. No money? True, investing money into a project you're not sure you'll be able to implement is a difficult choice, but investing a little money in this project will help you commit to finally improving your English. Moreover, finally feeling confident to understand your colleagues' questions and answer them adequately is priceless. It may well open the door to many more opportunities and improve your career. Tell me in the comments below how you feel when you speak to international colleagues. Learning to speak English confidently is an investment for your future and your career. If you'd like more information on my 4-week course to transform you from hesitant to confident speaker of English, especially for answering questions at conferences, check out this link or the one in the description below. Ask me a question in the comments below or send me a DM in Instagram. I'll reply personally. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of other videos coming up, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Bye!